Every now and then we all get that itch to watch something from our childhood and let the nostalgia kick in. And with Disney Plus, we'll have access to a good amount of shows that we grew up with. So today, I'm going to list 10 shows that I'm excited to rewatch episodes of for when those moments do arrive. At number 10 is That's So Raven. Raven Baxter has the special ability to see glimpses of the near future, and she uses this ability along with her friends Eddie and Chelsea to get into all sorts of shenanigans as she tries to change those little things in life. I grew up with this show and its spin-off show, Cory in the House, and I'm sure there's going to be moments when I just want to put on a random episode of this show on. The great thing about these kinds of shows is you don't need any briefing before you watch them. You can just put a random episode on, tune out mentally for a half hour, and enjoy. Number 9 is Brandy and Mr. Whiskers. Brandy and Mr. Whiskers are both stranded in the Amazon rainforest full of noisy creatures, and while Brandy is a snobby brat of a dog from Florida, Mr. Whiskers is a friendly bunny who is as clueless in the jungle as Brandy is. Regardless, they spend their days having fun adventures and becoming closer friends. When I was young, this show was always on super late at night for me, so I never really got to see it except for when I was on vacation. So besides the few random episodes that I saw, I've never had the chance to fully watch the entire show. But from what I remember, it was wacky, cartoony, and enjoyable, and there's no doubt in my mind that when I have that craving for a silly cartoon, I'm going to watch more episodes of this one. Number 8 is Recess. Now, I don't remember too much about this show as I was a tad younger while it was still on the air, so this synopsis comes straight from Wikipedia. 6 brave 4th graders at 3rd Street School make it their mission to protect the other kids on the playground. Despite the rule of King Bob and his minions who enforce his unwritten laws, TJ, Ashley, Vince, Gus, Gretchen, and Mikey seek a rational balance between conformity and individuality. Like I said, I haven't seen too much of this show, but every memory I have of it is pure gold, and I can't wait for the chance to binge the entire show when Disney Plus comes out. Number 7 is American Dragon, Jake Long. Another show from my childhood that had a pretty great catch. Jake Long has a shocking secret in that he's a descendant of dragons. And though he is stuck in the middle of the ordinary pitfalls of being 13, he is secretly training to become the first American dragon. This show is kind of like Disney's version of Danny Phantom with a dash of Johnny Test in there. It's got funny characters, interesting villains and magical creatures, and some exciting mysteries to unfold. At number 6, I have Good Luck Charlie. PJ, Teddy, and Gabe have a pretty normal life until their parents have another baby girl, Charlie, upsetting the flow of their household and forcing their mother to go back to work. With every episode, the siblings learn more about each other and how to help raise their baby sister, which Teddy, the older sister, documents in her personalized video diary for Charlie. This show had some honestly pretty great young actors, and the parents were hysterical to me as a kid. I always felt like I could take away a valuable lesson while relishing in the hilarity of a dysfunctional family that was not my own. And when the nostalgia kicks in or I become a little bit overwhelmed, I'm sure that an episode of this show will help calm my nerves in the future. Kicking off the top 5 is Lilo and Stitch the series. As I've said before, Lilo and Stitch are one of my favorite animated duos. I love their dynamics as their adventures are always fun and they make me laugh. This series revolves around Lilo and Stitch recovering all the lost experiments in Kauai after the fallout of Stitch the movie. Stitch serves as the bronze as he fights and catches the experiments, and Lilo serves as the brains of the operation, with finding the experiments and figuring out where they could fit in on the island. And meanwhile, Gantu and Reuben fight against Lilo and Stitch as they also hunt for their released experiments. This show has 2 full seasons with, I believe, 67 episodes in total, and it's a great binge-worthy show if you ever have that clamoring for a Saturday morning cartoon. Number 4 is Wizards of Waverly Place. Alex Russo and her brothers, Justin and Max, come from a long line of wizards and now must master their newly learned powers with the help of their dad, or in turn, lose them forever. The family business is Waverly Substation in busy Manhattan, and the 3 young wizards get into all sorts of crazy situations as they grow up, facing the typical teen challenges like school, friends, family, and magic. Another show with a great cast and an interesting catch. It's magical, it's relatable, it's funny, and I'm looking forward to watching another episode here and there. Number 3 is Hannah Montana. Miley Stewart lives a double life as the notorious pop star Hannah Montana, while only her brother, dad, and 2 best friends know about it. Her secret identity is a constant struggle for her as she grows up and deals with the typical struggles of teenage life. I actually quite liked this show as a kid. It had hilarious characters, cheesy teen romance, and some great catchy songs. It was on Netflix for some time, and there was a week or two in college where I just had that aching need for some nostalgia, and I binged through the entire show. And you know what? I'd do it again. But number 2 is Kim Possible. Another fantastic animated series from Disney that I grew up with. Kim Possible looks like an average high school cheerleader, but in her spare time, she saves the world from supervillains. Her buddy Ron Stoppable and his pet Rufus and a resourceful webmaster named Wade collaborate on secret missions, and when she's not defeating the bad guys, Kim still has to cope with the typical pressures of school, family, and social life. This was a phenomenal series with relatable characters, fun, action-packed missions, and a romance you actually cared about as a kid. And there's no doubt I'm excited to rewatch this entire series when Disney Plus comes out. And lastly, at number 1 is the show I most long to rewatch, and that is The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Life is sweet for the twin brothers Zack and Cody after their mom lands a job as the headlining singer at the 5-star Tipton Hotel in Boston. They make the hotel their playground, making the manager's life an utter disaster, while spending time with the high school candy girl Maddie, who happens to befriend the spoiled daughter of the hotel's owner. This show was my jam as a kid. I loved the pranks and the hijinks that the twins got into. It had every kind of character, each one being funnier than the last, and I easily related to the twins as their parents were also divorced. It was my after-school comfort show along with SpongeBob SquarePants and Ed, Edd n Eddy, and there is no doubt this will be one of the first shows I binge when that nostalgia kicks in. Well, that's my list. I hope you enjoyed the video and maybe I was able to remind you of a show from your childhood that you may have forgotten about. And hopefully I was able to get you a little bit more excited for Disney Plus if you weren't already. I know there's a ton of other shows that I didn't mention that people are super excited to watch again. So let me know down in the comments which ones you are planning on binging or putting an episode on when you're feeling nostalgic. Take care everyone. I'll see you next time.